Hi all, today we're going to be taking a look at Auscision's latest release, the NR class locomotive. We're going to be carrying out a unboxing and a small review. For starters, we're going to start by taking off the shrink wrap. There's no real science to this, just I guess don't stab the model. So as you can see, comes in Auscision's standard, I guess what you'd call Mark II style box, which displays the model in all views, top, bottom, side, underneath. I think that's pretty cool. One thing I really do love with the Auscision, I guess what you call Mark II box, is the inclusion of the builder's manufacturer plate, which I think is a really cool little thing to add, nice little detail. So far looks like Auscision standard boxing for all their models. Standard parts diagram and some instructions. All pretty standard, I'm not going to go through that, I'm sure you've seen it a million times. Packaging is again standard Auscision, pretty much standard every sort of modern train manufacturer. Slide the outer sleeve off, and then very carefully undo the packaging. Normally they include some spare sand brake pipes or sand pipes. Doesn't seem to be any on this model. Doesn't seem to be any sort of spare parts included with the model. Try and be very gentle here. I guess best to pick it up by the fuel tank. There you go, quite a beautiful model. And just notice that part there is a bit wonky, isn't it? Okay. Might need to take that off and re-glue it. I believe that's some sort of antenna, or someone might correct me. Beautiful bogie detail there, and undercarriage detail. I've just noticed that it's got a broken handrail as well. It's a bit average. Front of the locomotive. Beautiful interior. Try and get that on the camera there. Very prototypical. It's got the kettle and the stovetop, I believe it is. Yeah, quite nice. Very nice. I've actually got sort of the chain guardrails there. It's a nice addition. And then under the locomotive you've got your light switches. Quite detailed. Lovely etched detail. Don't know if you can see that. I'm not sort of holding the locomotive very still. I apologise. Very nice. Yeah, a bit of a bummer about the handrail there being damaged, but I guess people would call you pedantic or whiny if you complained about it, I'm sure. And that part there just sort of being a bit wonky, bit of a shame. The old quality control person must have been having a rough day that day. Alright, we'll put it on the track and see how it runs. Okay, so it's a little bit later. I've finally finished programming all the functions into the decoder. It's also worth noting that I was able to, even though it was on the other side, I've been able to reclip in the handrails, and they clipped in perfectly. And to be honest, they're so delicate and they're so fragile. Look, it's just one of those things. It's a fact of life. If you're gonna build this hand-built model in China and ship it all the way to Australia, the fact that stuff like that's going to occur, and I sort of was able to delicately bend that housing back, and I've got no issues with either of those. As you can see, I've got my little National Rail memorabilia. I'm sure if any of you worked for NRC or were around in that time, you'd probably remember those. Also broke out some stuff I had laying around. Little story why I chose NR53. I actually drove this locomotive. I'm not a train driver, and I sure as heck wasn't of legal age to probably drive a locomotive. But in the late 90s, my late father worked for NRC up in Acacia Ridge, and I certainly remember spending many school holidays in Acacia Ridge and seeing the NR class up here and riding in them, and actually drove one up the yard and backed it onto a train. All the guys in National Rail at the time were fantastic, and I'm sure you couldn't get away with that anymore. So yeah, that's a little bit of a side story. People probably think, why on earth would you choose the trailer rail in our class? But that's why. So I use a Roco Z21, which, to be honest, is all I know. I've only recently gotten back into trains after a childhood spent with certainly less well-equipped train sets than this. So I've programmed in all the functions, and there's a considerable amount. There's 29, 30 of them. If there's an easier way to do that, please let me know. I do it one by one. So I'll just do a bit of a rundown of the sounds. One little cool detail that you won't see until it's actually on the track is the fuel indicator on the side there, which is just so cool. Very, very cool. Well done, Auscision. Alright, well, apologies for the shaky camera. I'll try and hold this thing as best as I can. as you can hear there, you can hear the locomotive is shut down, but the air dryer component is still blowing down with the air in the tanks, and I just think that's a really, really cool addition. Anyone who's been around the prototype or had anything to do with them know that they just sort of sit there ticking all night long, and I believe it's the air dryer. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it definitely sounds like to me. And yeah, kudos to Auscision. That's a really, really cool inclusion. So I haven't run this locomotive around my track too much. The one thing I did notice was it does not like R2 curves. Now, I'm sure there's a minimum radius here somewhere. I probably need to go through the instructions. It certainly derails on the entry from the straight to the R2 on the rear bogie, and I guess that's neither here nor there. Most modern rolling stock doesn't like R2 or below, so just keep that in mind if you do have those sharp radiuses on your layout. Overall, this is just an exquisite model, beautiful. I really wish I knew more eloquent words to describe it, but the detail on the pilots is just absolutely stunning. The interior is exactly how I remember, that lovely shade of blue. It's just probably the most detailed model I certainly own and potentially on the market at the moment. I've had mine on pre-order for maybe 12 months, maybe less, and it definitely was worth the wait. And I hope you enjoy yours, or if you haven't purchased one yet, I would get in quick, because these are going to sell out pretty fast. All right, thank you for watching me stumble through this, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gives you some insight if you want to purchase one of these models yourself. See ya, bye.